Uh-oh. Look at us.
We're live.
We're live. We're absolutely live.
I'm scared.
As promised. 8 o'clock live. Here's the
We're
thing.
on time.
We're always on time. And you're going to see, we're going to talk about the disc in a little while. And you're going to see one of us is always on time. One of us is not on time. But it is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. 5 o'clock on the West. 7 to all our people in the Central. And no matter what time zone you're in, it's hump day. You know what that means, Tina?
Oh, I know what that means.
It means tomorrow's Thursday. However, tonight we are going to we're going to hang here. So we're glad you're with us. And as always, real estate is live. From the Lemonhawk Studios in Raleigh, North Carolina, this is Real Estate Live with your hosts, Kevin and Tina Caul. I mean,
wow, you're so official.
Am I not official?
You're very official. I didn't get to see any of these exciting things that you had.
You like our old prom picture?
Yeah. No, but
You didn't?
I mean, we looked a little strange, but that was really fun.
You look just the same.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, speaking of prom pictures, this is a little older than a prom picture, but show them what you were going to wear tonight.
Oh,
we both wore black.
Yeah, we did wear black, and I got here and I went, I have this great surprise for him. And so I was going to wear this.
Look at that.
My Kevin Caul sweatshirt.
That's
amazing.
Give it up.
But
give it up for the sweatshirt.
But this it's hot in here, so I had to take that off. And luckily I was wearing something underneath, or else I'd be sweating it out in your shirt, honey.
I gotta tell you, it's pretty toasty. It is pretty toasty. I don't know why the air conditioning doesn't quite make it into the studio, but either way, it doesn't matter. I think so. I've done other shows before, and I do better when we're drinking.
You do. Yes.
And again, it's hump day, so I think we should probably pour up a glass of wine.
Is it drink pouring time? I have the wine. This is my favorite wine for those of you watching. I don't actually like wine, but there is a wine called Mayomi. And every time we go to the restaurant, I always ask for it. And I would say they have it 4 out of 10 times. And then I'm so excited because I actually get to enjoy a glass of wine. There you go.
I'm very excited actually to have a glass of wine here with you tonight.
Yay. It's like Wednesday night date night.
We've been talking about doing a show for a long time. And then finally Tina said, every other show out there stinks.
I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
I did not say that.
I thought you did.
No.
I misunderstood.
Don't listen to anything he says.
And I go, well, let's just do our own show. How about that? We'll just do our own. And I mean, here's the thing.
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers. Let's have a sip. We do have an awesome show planned, by the way. And hey, everybody, I see everybody checking in. Yes, thank you for checking in.
Keith and Frank and Susan. Woohoo. Hi, everybody.
Here's the thing that we want to do with this show for sure is make it super interactive as the weeks go on. Tonight, quite honestly, we weren't sure if anybody was going to watch. So we're like, we'll definitely have our friend Alex on. He's an expert on the disc assessment.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to have him assess the both of us.
We're going to make him guess what we fight about. I told him I want him to sort of, if he's that good, he'll be able to tell us what we battle about.
He's like a
fortune teller. Not that we battle, but he's like a psychic. He's going to do like a psychic reading with a roadmap. Call the disc.
He's like the Mistress Cleo of today. Yes, Call him now for your free reading.
That's right. But it's interesting because I've been taught disc for the last 12 years with my mentors and organizations. And when I met Alex, I went, oh my God, I don't really know disc. And so of course he has a course called You Don't Know Disc. So it was perfect. Yeah. So now he's my disc guy, and hopefully we'll make him your disc guy.
Here's what we definitely want to do In addition to having Alex on tonight, we do want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the market. It's a funky time. We can all agree.
It is funky. It's
a
funky
time.
Yeah, it's actually exciting time though, because I feel like we're moving away from the funky time. The funky time was the COVID time. That was funky.
True.
So now we're going back into normalcy. But for some agents that got into the business the last 2 years, they're like, this is funky.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people don't know how to operate in this market.
They don't. They really don't.
We're going to help you through it. You know what's even more important though? This has got to be the safe space, right? This has got to be the place where we don't have to work for the hour.
No.
Now, realtors, look, and if you're not a realtor and you're watching, I would just like to say this. Real estate agents, we get a bad rap, first of all.
We do.
We're the hardest working people in the world.
We're very, well, I know I am.
I am not. I've been licensed 14 years and I've worked maybe a year of that. However, it's cumulative.
That's right.
But I will say this, a good real estate agent, they're the hardest working people I know.
I agree with that.
There's no days off. The phone doesn't stop ringing. It's a constant grind.
We're 24/7. Really.
Seriously. This is the 1 hour of the week you get to be off.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Take your bra off.
No, yeah. Like basically put the kids to bed. Take your bra off for the ladies, right? When my bra comes off, I'm never leaving the house.
Yep.
So, and that's it. You just relax on the couch. You've got your wine or your whatever you drink, right? I know you ladies are doing that right now.
That's right. It's a safe space.
That's right. And hopefully our sellers and our buyers aren't watching. This is for realtors.
If you are watching, sellers and buyers, we love you, but you drive us to drink. That's why we're drinking on Wednesday nights. Every single one of us. Cheers.
That's right.
You can be exhausting. Not call group clients.
No, our clients are perfect. But truly, I mean, I think that it's such an emotional process that you see, grown women and men literally act like children over like a light fixture or like a $50 repair, and I've actually had, and I know you know this, I've had sellers and buyers call us back after transactions and apologize for their behavior. So maybe the disc guy can help us with understanding why people get so crazy.
Well,
emotional.
We're going to find out. I do want to touch though. It's been a goofy week. Like the Fed raised the rates again today, right? 75 basis points, whatever that means. It means the rates are going up.
20,
you know that much.
75 bips.
Yeah, exactly. But I was just thinking how, like, everything is always portrayed as this just super heavy negative stories over and over and over, like the world is coming to an end.
Right.
That's just not how we operate.
No.
But here, I'll give you an example of what it's like. If you're paying attention to the news, this is what it's like right now.
There are signs the red-hot pandemic-era housing market is starting to cool, and that means different things for buyers and sellers.
Home prices are dropping as mortgage rates rise.
Federal Reserve expecting to announce the biggest rate hike in decades, a dramatic effort to slow the economy.
Given where things are, the only place rates are going in the foreseeable future is up, is up, is up.
The stock market nosedive. People are shocked by their groceries.
Inflation rate month to month is just
it's the highest inflation rate, Mr. President, in 40 years.
I got that.
This has led to a drop in home sales. How does this impact home prices?
Wow. I'm so depressed after watching.
It's so funny. I was
like
putting that
scary movie.
It's like a scary movie. I was putting that together earlier, and I told Thomas, who's here with me at the studio, helping me produce this. I go, this is so dark. I don't even know if I should play it. It's going to bring the vibe down, but
no, that's that. But that's what agents are feeling. That's what like buyers and sellers are feeling. And then you're going, when we got in, I mean, when we bought our first house, like the interest rates were 8%. Yeah. We were so excited to buy that house, and we were 22 years old, 21?
If that, yeah.
Yeah. So
yep.
It's interesting. But that, the media can't show you positive things. I mean, that's just the reality. Nobody looks at that.
A friend of mine who lives down in Costa Rica, she was a news she was a news producer back in the day, and her line, she said, in the news industry, if it bleeds, it leads. So you can't believe all of this, right? Yes, the Fed did raise the rates today, and mortgage rates have gone up. Things aren't selling with 50 multiple offers in one day anymore, right? So there's a little bit of a change. So our conversations just need to change with our buyers and sellers. And that's where we're hoping you can help us, Tina, because I don't know how to talk to people.
I mean, you know how to talk to people, but I mean, the reality is, we were trained in our organization with our coaching back in the day. I mean, 2008, 9, 10, we were going through a shift. And, when agents understand that they're realtors, but they're salespeople first, they're salespeople second, they're salespeople third, and they're realtors fourth, and they understand that they have to fall in love with the language of sales to help get these buyers and sellers to actually make a decision and to, to be a guide through this, their world will change, their business will change. So hopefully we'll, be able to help some people get through this little bit of a transition going into, I call, a very normal market. I'm so excited. We did a comp yesterday and it was said 50 days on market is the average. And I went, thank goodness. Look at that. That's wonderful.
Man, I didn't even know it was that high.
Well, it was for this property. This is a $1.3 million, $1.4 million property. It was 52 days. That was the average for the homes that were active right now.
What's our normal average in Raleigh?
I mean,
for like a
pre-pandemic,
Yeah.
Well, when you think about it, so if you think about 2015, right? Let's go back to 2015. What is that? 7 years ago now?
Yep.
We were 45 days on market with a 2.5 month supply of inventory. So that means, the absorption rate was 2.5 months. We had 2.5 months supply on the shelves. And that's if not one more house came on the market. So that was a normal, even amazing market. 2018, right? A few years later, we had 2 months supply of housing. So it went by a half a month. And we had about 35 days on market. So again, that was a normal market. And today it's right around the same thing. You're going to start seeing 20 days, 25 days. We still have a 1 month supply, under a 1 month supply of housing. We don't have enough houses. So when people are like, oh my God, the world is ending, and you're going, this is even better than 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. But 19 was COVID market, right? It was insane. And so supply issues and all that stuff really exacerbated the market to the point where it went insane. Nobody's ever seen it like that. So when you are dealing with 2 years of that and it's exciting and things are flying off the shelf, and then you come into this, you're like, oh, it's shifting. It's not really shifting. It's normalizing. And we're seeing us go away from the weirdo COVID market.
So that's true. I spoke at our team meeting last week, and we were talking about the shift. I'm actually so tired of hearing
I'm so tired of it.
Let's
call it the normalization.
The normalization of the market.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about, is that, look, it's just going back to being normal. It's just not so crazy anymore. But the problem is some sellers still think they have a house that's going to sell in a day for multiple offers. And buyers now think that they can lowball the sellers, right? If it's been on the market more than a week, which is not the case.
Right.
So before we get to Alex and talk about the disc, just if you're talking to your sellers, how are you just setting them up to understand this market and say, hey, this isn't what you think, and this isn't what the news is portraying?
Well, I think that, the reality is when we sit down with a seller, we're basically saying, hey, we need to make sure that when we run comps, when we look at what we think this house is priced at, the buyer agent is going to go through this process. So we need to make sure that when we put this price out to market, that we work our way backwards and we figure out, like, how is the agent going to come up with this similar value? And if we miss the mark, that's okay, because we're all just guessing, right? I'm reading the tea leaves. My agents are reading the tea leaves. And basically what we do is we tell them the market won't lie. If your home is sitting there week after week after week, it's just overpriced. And that was the same thing when in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I had sometimes 30, 40 houses in inventory. I mean, you remember those days when we had 40 homes sitting in inventory, and I'd knock on my friend's door. I remember Dolly Helbert in our office at Remax. Yep. And I'm like, Dolly, do homes sell in Raleigh? Because I keep getting listings because I know how to get a listing. Do these freaking things ever sell? And she's like, honey, you just wait. They're going to sell, sit tight, and one day they're just going to sell. And I was
One
like,
day.
okay.
Spring is coming.
Spring is
coming.
coming.
Yeah.
So it was like it was normal to sit there. And the reality was when I priced homes correctly, even in that market, in that down market, they sold in 7 days if I priced it correctly. So today, it's that conversation of, look, if we listed and 7 days go by, 10 days go by, and we've had 5, 6, 7 showings. So buyers found enough value to come and take a look, but they walked out the door and they didn't find enough value to write you an offer and put pen to paper. That means we missed the mark, maybe not by 10%, but probably by 3 to 5. And so if that happens, Mr. Seller, I'm going to be the first one on the phone to tell you, hey, we need to make an adjustment because time is not on our side. I mean, every day that ticks by, we're giving the buyer leverage. We're asking the buyer to come in with a lowball offer because I don't know about you, but when I walk into a house, what's the first thing that we ask a realtor when we walk into a house?
What do you think I can get it for?
Yeah. What's the price? And so, or I'm sorry, how many days on market? How long has this home been on market? You know, if you say to the buyer 65 days on market, what's the first thing they're thinking about? Oh, good. I can get a great deal.
Yeah.
But if you say to them 4 days on market, all of a sudden they're looking a little more seriously and they're really making sure, do they want this house or not? So it's really kind of making sure the seller understands that if we get an offer between this price and this price, that's the green zone. That's the go zone. As your advisor, there is no one set price. We're going to set it here. It's a moving target, but this is my green zone. And when we get an offer here, Mr. Seller, I'm going to tell you to go. If we go below that, it's the red zone. But week after week, I'm going to be watching and advising on where we need to move. And so as long as you give them a plan, and when you call them, you basically are upfront with them like, hey, we missed the mark. We got to lower it 50 grand, 40 grand, whatever it is. They're more apt to believe you because they want to be led. And I find that a lot of agents right now are letting their sellers lead them. And that's not cool because they're paying us a lot of money. So I want to be led if I'm paying my financial advisor to teach me about finances.
Well, that's why they're hiring you. And if you're a not an agent watching, just hire an agent and listen to their advice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, again, agents get a little bit of a bad rap, but dang, they are so worth every penny.
Not all.
Am I right? Oh, there's some duds.
Come on, not all. I mean,
Some of
think
you are
about
duds.
this. No, well, we
That's
love
true.
you all, but the reality is this,
Not all.
there's tribal knowledge, right? I mean, there's tribal knowledge. If you've been in the industry 15 years, you're going to have some set of tribal knowledge that a new agent year one is just not going to have. Doesn't mean they're bad agents. It just means that, like to me, if I'm going to go get brain surgery and you tell me you've been doing it 15 years, you've done it thousands of times versus the guy that just got out of med school. I don't know about you, but
Hey, don't hate on Doogie Howser. Doogie Howser can pull it off.
maybe Doogie.
He had his own TV show.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that
That's
fancy?
great. I still want the 15-year veteran.
So here's what I do know. When it comes to things to say and the right things to say, you're an OG.
Well, I mean, I just say the same things over and over. In fact, all I did was learn the answers. But I always say sellers and buyers, they don't go to buyer and seller school and learn new objections. They say the same things.
That's true.
Lower your commission. How long have you been in the market? Where, they say the same thing. So we just have to learn 3 or 4 answers. So I'm really not that smart. I just learned the ansers.
So what we're going to do, since you have all the answers, she tells me
I
every
don't
day,
have all
she
the
goes,
answers.
I'm right. I know all the answers. I got them all. We'll do some of this word track stuff, though. I think it's really important to just know. Actually, you took that course, right? Or are taking a course and getting certified in a course called
Know What to Say. Yeah, by Phil Jones.
Yeah, so we'll definitely pass some of that along to you guys because it's going to be very important, especially in a normal market. It's going to be very, very important to know what to say. But in the meantime, I need to figure out between you and I who's a better person.
Oh, it's me.
We all know who a better person is. And we have the perfect guest to tell us. And he is coming right up. Look. He's
here. There he is.
Look who it is.
Hey, guys. Having fun. That's awesome.
It's my disc guy. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Tina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Everybody, this is Alex Underwood. Alex,
what's up, Kevin?
How
you doing, man?
You're in Arizona, right?
Huh?
You're in Arizona?
I am, but I have to have water, so I put up this fake background so I'd have water.
Gotcha. I love it.
Makes
He's in
more
Miami. He's in Miami tonight.
Actually, this is Barcelona. I just got back from Spain, and this was the view out of our hotel window.
Lucky.
I know. I was jealous the whole time he was there.
That was amazing.
Well, here's what I know for sure. We met Alex. When did you meet him? A year ago or so?
Well, yeah, maybe like 8 months ago.
8 months to a year ago. And we thought we knew the DISC assessment. As it turns out, we don't know anything. We didn't know.
We don't know DISC.
We don't know DISC.
We don't know DISC.
Dang, we knew nothing about it. But since then, since we've gotten to know Alex a little more and really learned what it's about, he has helped us with hiring the right people, firing the wrong people.
Firing the right people.
Firing the right people.
Hiring and firing. Even just discussions with our team. And it's made a huge, huge difference. So I think DISC is a little bit misunderstood. Would you agree with that, Alex?
It's drastically misunderstood. And I think one of the biggest things that when people are talking about the DISC assessment is that, first off, I'm the DISC guy. People call me their DISC guy. DISC isn't work. It's not effective. It's not absolute. Everyone thinks it's this grand old thing. What it does is it gives you a language to talk about behavioral tendencies. That's it. When you take a profile, it tells you where in the zone you may find somebody and then guess when they're showing up.
Yep. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions is somebody says, oh, I'm a high D or I'm a high I, right? And that may be the case, but as we were talking about yesterday, DISC isn't about one letter.
No, DISC measures behavioral tendency in 4 categories. It looks at how you deal with problems, people, pace, and procedures. And people don't have one of these 4 different categories. You are all 4. If you're dealing with progress, moving forward, taking action, you're in your D, and you're either on the high side or the low side, and it's a spectrum. There's not a good or a bad. It's a high or a low, and it's a behavioral tendency in the category of progress. If you're dealing with your I, it's how you interact with people. You're social, you're outgoing, or you're more introspective. You like to connect to people by listening. Everybody interacts with people. When you interact with people, you're in your I category. How you interact with people pops up there. And then all of a sudden there's a problem. Now you move out of your I category and you move into your D category. Then your D shows up. And depending upon if you're a big D or a little D, you're going to be acting accordingly.
Well, so the D is like the decisive measurement, correct?
Yes. That's how most people teach it. D is decisive.
Yeah.
Okay.
D, when you score high in that category, it means when dealing with problems and moving forward, you tend to take action quickly. You measure up your situation, you're decisive, and you move forward. It doesn't mean that you make decisions better than a low D, because a low D makes decisions just fine, as long as they have enough information and time to make the decision. It's both about moving forward. The high D wants to move forward, and if they hit a wall, they want to hit it sooner so they can bounce off and turn and go a different direction. The low D looks at them and goes, why hit a wall? Like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are going to see, we're going to do a comparison between she and I. You'll see our differences.
I hit a lot of walls.
You do.
Well, it's like, when we were taught DISC by the last organization that we were with, it was like, our instructor, our mentor was a high D. So he would say, oh, you're a high D and you're a high D. He basically taught it as drive. You're so driven. You're so driven because you're a high D. And sometimes we'd wear that as a badge and people would walk around the conferences, remember, be like, I'm a high D. And you're like, okay. So it was interesting. It was just so wrong.
They wear like a high D. They're like, look, I'm a high D. I'm like, good. You're a dick. That's nice.
Yeah. I feel like that is, when people think about DISC, they think high D is this great thing, right? And I go, well, I'm not one. So I go, no, it's very not.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If you look at it, let's play the counter argument. You have the high D. They're decisive. They're aggressive. They take action. They're focused on results and they move. They're powerful. Man, I want a high D on my team. They're going to plow over your clients. They're not going to listen, actively engage unless they've learned skills to do it. They're going to just talk at the client. They'll overcome any objection, but you're not going to get referral business because when a problem comes up, they're overly aggressive and they'll push people to take action, but they won't make it feel comfortable and inviting for their clients naturally, unless they're a high D. But if they're not a high D client, they won't feel unnatural. But here's the thing, they'll push them through to the finish line, but they won't get a referral. They never felt safe. They never felt comfortable. You weren't their leader. You're just their agent.
Yeah, because there's not a relationship built, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Should we pull up ours and see what we're all about?
But I'd love to just real quick, if Alex could tell everybody his background just a little bit, so we can, just so they know who he is a little bit.
We need to know who the fortune teller is.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. Well, I started my college career as a music major. Then I went off and became a clown. I worked at the Shrine Hospital for Kids making balloon animals. No, actually, both are true. I was a licensed Zumba instructor. Worked as a licensed Zumba instructor. That was fun.
I love it. Fun.
Now, if we get into the real stuff, I was an engineer supporting experimental flight tests for Boeing and the U.S. military. I helped design the 787, working from design and concept to first delivery, there for the entire stage of the process. And then I worked on the TX, which is a military flight trainer. It's a 737 modified to hunt submarines. And so my job was to take the overly complicated engineering, dumb it down so the CEO could understand it, and then also put it in a language that the mechanic could understand.
I would need it dumbed down.
Dumbed way down.
I need every conversation I'm in dumbed way down.
Way down.
Say, dumb it down for the ding dongs in the back.
That's right.
Me.
See, that's one of the mistakes that a lot of people make when they're training is they teach it so that anyone can understand. And what you need to know is you need to know who you're talking to. That's what this whole thing's about. This whole disc thing's about is you need to know who you're talking to and you change your communication to that person. So when I worked at Boeing, that's all I did. I took abstract patterns, but I got really good at making teams work together because I could go into anywhere and figure out how these guys work together. Yep. Same time, I started studying NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, certified trainer over 15 years, master hypnotist, and started working, had my first quit smoking client, 60 minutes, one session, guaranteed. Yep. She came back in, wasn't successful. Did a follow-up session, found out that her 6-year-old goddaughter had been killed by a stray bullet in Baltimore.
Wow.
Aww.
After an hour and a half, she was laughing and telling me stories about Isabel. Gave me a hug, said, "Thank you for giving me my memories back." Wow. I took off and went into therapy. I was one of 100 mental health providers for the Vegas shooting victims. I worked in suicidal depression of medical professionals. I wasn't a medical professional, so I didn't have to report it. Worked with kids, worked with teens, and I was working with a couple of kids, which is how I got introduced to the real estate world. I worked with a couple of kids and their parents said, "You help my kid, can you help my 30 other kids?"
My team.
30 kids? My team. They're real estate. They introduced me to Bill Pipes, a sales coach, and he started taking me and brought me in to teach his coaches disc. And all of a sudden I started going all over the country because the way that I looked at things, I could see the spectrums where everyone else only saw classifications. I could see why when the profile didn't work, I could tell you why. Because yeah, it works 80% of the time the way they teach it, but that's not enough. That's not enough. If you don't understand how it works, it doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, I find it fascinating.
Me too.
I find all of this personality stuff fascinating. You really find it fascinating.
Well, because I think you have to be I do, because you're self-aware, right? I mean, I'm a high D, high I, and if I'm in conversation with, an SC, whatever, as a client, I needed to be versatile. And you said that, Alex, which I loved. It's the leadership. Leaders have to be versatile. They have to treat people how they want to be treated, not just, it's one size fits all. This is me, love me, hate me. No, I'll just be sort of that versatile, not chameleon, but, I wanted to make people comfortable, and I had to adapt to who they needed me to be for them to feel comfortable.
Yeah. It's how I needed them to communicate, how I need to communicate, not who you need to be. You are you. That's you can be you as a high D acting in a C capacity because you're just changing your communication, not who you are.
I like that better. See, he makes me feel better about myself.
He makes you normal.
That. He makes me normal.
That's hard work. I've worked hard at that.
I tell you, it's real hard work with this one, Alex. She's the furthest thing from normal I've ever met in my life.
Hey now.
So, yeah.
Hey now.
Yeah. Hey
yeah.
Now, nothing.
We're gonna bring the divorce attorney for the next show.
Fair enough.
Oh, I love it.
Fair enough. I'll give myself a boo.
Boo on that.
Fine,
Thank you.
All right. So, Alex, do you want to? I do have a graphic that is Tina's disc graph on the top, mine on the bottom. Do you want to, or do you want to see them individually first? I'm going to let you decide.
So it's like this drum roll thing. Let's go ahead and put both of your guys' up. I want to go through the three real quick so I can take a look at them, and then we'll go back to the disc.
All right. Okay. Let me get it on the screen here. Bear with me.
So this will be like, like let's pretend that we were just about to go on a date. This is like a compatibility test. So if you were looking at us,
done that, Tina.
Have you? There you go.
See? So, there was somebody who was looking. They were beta testing a dating app, and they started running profiles just for a small group of people. And they brought me in to start analyzing whether they'd be fits. And so that's actually kind of funny. But yeah, they did that.
I love it. I love it. Well, I have like 2 or 3 couples under my belt. So see, we could start another company, Alex. I like this.
Yeah, we got this. We got this.
So Tina's on top. I'm on the bottom.
This is a
bravo.
Of course, men, keep it clean.
I'm known to say things I probably shouldn't say. It's a PG-13 show. That's what we've agreed upon.
That's right.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you for letting me know. I'll tailor it back a little bit.
Tina's on the top tier of this graphic.
Thank you.
I would be on the lower tier of this graphic. Break her down, first of all, so I know what I'm dealing with.
Before our date.
Before our first date.
Awesome. Flip to the next one. I got to see the values too. I can never look at the disc without the values.
There's the values.
See, and that's what people miss. Nobody ever talked about the values when we were learning disc.
You want to go back to the other screen?
Yep. Go back to the disc. I just need a quick look at it. So the values, disc measures behavioral tendency. I'm going to start off with just a little lesson. Disc measures behavioral tendency. It doesn't tell you why people do what they do. It tells you how they're likely to show up. The value is the intrinsic motivator. That's that other graph we looked at. I had to understand a little bit about that because it gives meaning to the disc that I'm looking at. So when I look at this profile, let's look at Tina's first. You start on the left, you got a high D, high I, high S, low C. Technically, the I and the S are kind of in that middle. They could be high, they could be low, but I'm going to count them kind of as the high I and a medium S. So when you look at this, you've got somebody who's driven for results. They're focused. They're taking action. They like to be social, outgoing, but they're willing to sacrifice the experience in order to get better results. They don't like to follow process. They like to innovate, create new things. And if someone gives them a process, they tend to stuff their nose at it and go, that's cute. Let me see how I can do it. Jokes aside, Tina, it's usually not that the person is going, I don't want to follow the process. It's that they're able to constantly see ways to improve the process. So they're always trying to find ways to make it better, more efficient, especially with your drive for results. You tend to be more stable and steady in your pace. You like to be a little bit more intentional in how you show up as far as your behavior, your emotions. You tend to be very level. But right now, you're trying to speed things up. You're being more expressive. Tends to be either because you've got some needs that aren't there, or in your case, it's more of you've got momentum and you're riding that momentum. You're excited about the buildup, so we want to move fast. So when you're looking at the disc profile this way, I can sit and I can paint a really rosy picture, driven for results, innovative, pioneering, fast-paced, or I can paint a horrible picture, overly aggressive, isn't willing to follow process, overly emotional. So how do you want me to display this? You see, see, that's funny. Love that,
Kevin. He's laughing. I'm not overly emotional, am I?
It's a monster.
I'm not overly emotional, am I? Really? Thank you for demonstrating what I'm talking about. I appreciate it.
Oh, we can't run from him.
You see, but when you're looking at the disc, you can explain it as a positive or a negative. You flip them both ways.
That's right. I love it.
So,
I mean, that's accurate.
Looking at Kevin, congratulations, Kevin. You're next. You got a low D.
So can we just recap? She's a monster.
I am not a monster. I'm going to go with the positive.
Which of the two you listen to? Right. Selective hearing. So starting off with Kevin, we have selective hearing. That's the first trait.
Yep, that's S.
That's
selective.
Right. Very selective.
Oh, Kevin,
right,
high C, high S, high I. Outgoing, gregarious, loves talking to people. Generally very even keel. Takes a lot to push him over, but once you push him over the edge, you know you did. He loses it, but then he'll be very apologetic that he lost it. He'll feel bad about it because he doesn't normally. But it's one of those things. It's like it's not a problem until it is, and then it goes pop. Then he recovers quickly. Likes to follow process, likes to follow procedure. Technically, he cares more about the quality result and guaranteeing that you can have a predictable result. It's not about process and procedure. It's not about precedent, the way it's been done. It's I want to make sure that if it's going to be done, we're going to get there, that it's going to get done right, and that I know that ahead of time. So when you look at the C and the D, I'm going to bounce this now going between Tina and Kevin. You have Tina's high D, which is I want to get results. and you have Kevin's high C, which is I want to get results. And they butt heads with respect to what those results mean, because Kevin wants to make sure we have a guaranteed quality result. And Tina says the only way we can have a guaranteed result is to get it. And if it's not right, change it. And he goes, well, that's where we have that whole let's hit the wall versus why don't we plan so that we don't hit the wall? Both of them are focused on results. This is a major misconception with the C, is that they don't care about results. They do. They just want them to be predictable. Kevin, you like to take your time, which is nice. You're relaxed. I like that.
The only thing I like to do is take my time. I gotta be honest with you.
And naps. And naps.
My time, and I take it.
Takes time and naps.
That low D, a lot of people would say they can't make a decision to save their behind. You said PG-13, right? I don't know what that is. Okay.
You can say ass. It's 8 o'clock. Yeah, we're good.
Now it's 8:30.
They can't make a decision to save their ass, but the problem is that you can make a decision. You're actually really good at making decisions. You have a unique profile. It's an ISC profile. And what that means is, given clearly defined boundaries, what are your authority? What's your accountability? What are you able to do? You're able to act like a D without being a D. And with that, so you're less aggressive, but you'll make decisions. But you want to take time. In general, when you're making a decision, you're dealing with a problem, you go, let's put it out all on the table. Let's look at the information and make sure we're making the right decision so that this doesn't happen again. Let's make sure we get this thing fixed. Yeah. And Tina goes, let's get this thing fixed by taking action. You're like, well, wait a minute. And then she starts to get aggressive and you're like, okay, fine, do it your way. Okay, fine, do it your way.
I got to say that it's spot on. That is spot on how we operate.
Pretty much.
Until you get to the point where you've had enough of the okay, fine, and then you typically blow just once or twice.
Again, spot on. It's so true. She's really laughing.
I am laughing.
Yeah, she knows exactly.
I am laughing.
Yeah. What's funny though, Tina, is that he apologizes for it. He's like, I'm sorry. And you're like, I actually liked it. I thought it was hot. That was cool. Can you do that more? I like fighting with you. That's kind of cool. Let's see that again. Let's replay. And then she'll keep pushing his buttons just to see if she can get him back there.
That's the pushover. I know
sometimes be more aggressive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
PEAGGRESSIVE.
Wow. Yeah, I can't do that.
That's a high I.
That's a high I.
But we're identical on the I.
We kind of are.
No, we are literally 67s each.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Both like to socialize. You both like to be outgoing. You see, now here's one of the other challenges. You've got Tina, you're a high D. You're focused. When the problem comes up, you have a problem. You start to get aggressive. Kevin goes, dude, why are you being so aggressive? Until he makes that comment, he's not the problem. The minute he makes that comment, he becomes the problem, and that's where the aggression gets going. High Ds like to focus their aggression on dealing with problems. And if you don't make a problem of them being aggressive, you don't become the problem.
That's right. You hear that? Say that again, Alex.
I think what he said was, you're a problem.
Now, Kevin, I'm going to give you some language. You want to pull Tina out of that high D mode, get her calm down. You can look at her and say, calm down. That never works. Or watch this. Just look at Tina and watch her reaction when I say this phrase and just kind of see. Tina, look at the screen. Look up at the screen and just listen to this.
Okay.
Hey, I can tell you're mad at the situation right now. Let's look at what the problem is and figure out what we need to put in place in order to make this work. How's that sound?
Woo! Yes.
You watch her cheeks soften. She can't, you can't help it. As a high D, that statement makes you go,
solution.
Okay, say it again, Alex. Say it one more time. Let me try this.
Okay. I can tell you're really mad at the situation right now.
I can tell you're really mad at the situation right now.
I am.
Let's figure out what the problem is and what we need to put in place in order to fix it.
Let's figure out what the problem is.
And figure out what to put in place so we can fix it.
And figure out what to put in place so we can fix it.
That's hot.
All right, we got to go. It's hump day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
There you go. This is good training.
I'll never remember that. Where
yes,
are the
solutions?
I won't remember that.
Let's figure out the solution. Let's Google it. Let's figure out a solution. Let's take action. That's all I care about.
Here's the truth. We don't have many issues.
We really don't.
We get along pretty well, but I think that's because look, if anybody's watching, I've been a beaten man my whole life.
Oh, shut up.
I need help. Send help. She's a high D.
The reason you guys don't have a lot of fights is because, quite frankly, Kevin, you have the flexibility to be able to hear it and not take it personally. She's focused. She's driven on results. You have a secure attachment. You don't take it personally. And B, from a disc perspective, you have a high S. So you're calm, you're focused. And when it comes in, it's not that big a deal and you don't take it personally. When she starts to freak out, you're the calm in the storm. And when she's not freaking out, you guys both have the high I. So you laugh about the fact that she just freaked out and you don't hold that record or keep it as a problem. So your recovery strategy will be really effective. You have the one piece that does start to grind on you, which is we need to slow down and make sure we're doing this the right way. And occasionally, Tina, through her training and development, has learned that sometimes she's just got to let go. And because of the trust and relationship that you've built, she's learned that sometimes letting you just be this creative individual person who goes off and does the thing, it will get results. But she has to let you go do it or she'll grab the reins from you, which is kind of like you talking about the show. It's how it comes to be. It's like she needs to go, I trust you, lets it go because she knows it'll be a good result. You've shown her that.
Yeah.
That's true. In fact, when you said, I want to do a show, I go, it's all on you. Don't tell me. Don't tell me what we're doing. I have no capacity, no bandwidth for a show. Just don't make me look bad.
And here's the low D in me. I say, hey, I want to do a show. She goes, it's all on you. And I go, part of me goes, forget it.
Exactly.
I don't want to do it all.
But then she says, let's do it. Let's get a date. Let's push it down. So she pushes.
Yeah.
You look at it and go, let's make sure we have all the information. We got what we need. Okay, I got this piece. I got this piece. You got all these different things done. And then you're ready to go. And then you bring her in and go, cool. You've given me that clear boundary. That's the ISE I was talking about. You've given me this clear boundary on what my authority is. And then she comes back and goes, cool, you got a result. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, honey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'll chalk that one up to a victory for me.
Good
on
job.
the scoreboard.
Good job.
So most people only know this part of the disc, though.
Yes.
Right? The D, I, S, and C. There's this secondary portion of it is like the values index.
Yep.
It's what people don't even pay attention to. And it's probably more important, would you say? Or
It's so much more important. So the disc can change based upon the way that the wind blows. Like everyone thinks their disc is fixed, but if someone gets pissed off, their behavior is going to change. If somebody gets upset, if somebody has something bad happen in their life, if they have a cheery event, if they have something like getting married, they're excited. They're like, yay. Like if they have something good happen, their disc is going to change. Your behavior changes based upon your experience. The values more change from traumatic events, positive or negative, because they're what's intrinsically motivating to you. They're your internal motivators. Now, on Wise Hire, they often have the disc and then they have the values. And what they don't have, if you can hit the next one, this third graph, pop down, this third graph looks at how people filter and value information. This is an additional graph that isn't on the Wise Hire profiles, but this is one of the ones that we use because it shows you how you filter information, how you prioritize it, and what you see and don't see when you're in high velocity. So if you go back up to the values. So if we look at this, you can see a drastic difference between Kevin and Tina. Kevin, high economic, high political. Now, I'll go over high level.
I'm still on top, Alex. I'm still on top.
Yep.
So yeah, Tina's
high economic, high
Yep.
political.
Oh, I thought he said it was Kevin. Okay, good.
Nope. Tina, high economic, high political. Now, if you look, aesthetic is about balance and harmony, seeking form. Economic is not about money. It's about being the best. What's in it for me? Political, I'm skipping the individualistic because I'll talk about that with Kevin. Political is about what's in it for my people. Altruistic is what's in it for people. Regulatory, putting systems and processes together, and theoretical, learning for the sake of learning. Tina loves to learn to apply. She doesn't care if there's a system. If there is, she's not going to follow it anyway, so she doesn't really care about the system.
True that.
However, she will care about the system if it affects her bottom line, which is the high economic, and or it affects her team, her people. That's the political. What's interesting is Tina actually has a unique profile because on here, it shows that that economic score is higher than the political, but that's not who I know Tina to be. Tina's economic is driven by her political because she knows if she's the best, it gives her team a better advantage. If she makes more money, she can have a bigger impact for the people that are connected to her. Her economic is not her driver. Her people is her driver. Her economic is motivated and enhanced by that political. So if I were to tell you, if I was talking to Tina based on the language and conversations, I would be focused about how I can help her people, how her people can advance, and what that will do to her bottom line and what it'll do for her. But I have to focus first on her people before I shift into the what's in it for her, even though this profile looks like it's the opposite.
Yeah.
That's so true.
It's so true. You are it. She does default. It's always what's best for our team and for anybody. You love to help people.
I know. Sometimes he's really like, why are we always helping everybody else? I'm like,
I want to stop for a second and say she loves to help her people, Kevin.
My people.
The easiest way to get off of, like, to see Tina go from helping you to not helping you is somehow do something in her world that moves you out of her people category, because you drop from that 73 to a 46.
Yeah.
You're go dead. From, ooh, I want to take care of you to see ya really quickly.
That is probably true. My
true.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, and here's the thing, Tina, if you have some friends that do something that drive you nuts, they could temporarily move out of the my people category. And a lot of people go, yeah, but I got to help them. No, you have to figure out how to get them back into your people. Then you will naturally help them. If you try and help the people who are on your team, who are your friends, who have done something to move out of your people category into just people, you won't do it and you'll struggle with it. Instead, shift them back into my people. How do I make them my people again? Because then you'll pick it up and run. That's simple.
Right. How do I align with them again is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you align with them? How do you get back in alignment with them? Now, Kevin, looking at yours, you've got the high individualistic and you've got the high theoretical. Love to learn for the sake of learning, which drives Tina nuts because she goes, why are you learning that? You're like, because it's cool. She goes, but what are you going to do with it? You're like, learn it. Yes, I'm going to learn it. And then when someone asks me about it, I'm going to know. It'll be cool.
That's exactly right. I always say he knows a little bit about everything.
I do.
And I'm like, what's the point of those useless
He actually
facts?
knows a lot about everything because he loves to learn. He learns for the sake of learning. And because people recognize that's a unique trait of his, it also augments his individualistic. So he learns because it helps him be unique and different than everybody else. The fact that he's got that trivia knowledge and he's got that one thing, that's kind of cool because, that's a Kevin thing. And it's like, yeah, that's a Kevin thing. So that high individualistic, which is interesting because if you look at his disc profile, he had that high C, doing things the way they're supposed to be done, but he wants to be able to stand out and be unique and different from the crowd, which means if he's given a process, he can't follow it because that's how everyone else does it. He has to be able to add his own flair, which means anytime he gets an environment where it's a restrictive environment, he does not do well. It does not go well for him. Even though he wants to follow the process, his motivation is to stand out. And if he can't stand out, it doesn't work. So he's sitting there trying to do it the way he's supposed to do it. But he's like, I got to add a flair and it's not me. And he'll bounce.
Yeah.
So true.
It's so spot on. It's like scary.
It's
how
kind of
spot
creepy,
on.
isn't it? Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Now, there's a big difference because you see Kevin loves to be unique and different, but it's not about being the best. It's not about beating other people. He just wants to be himself. Whatever that is, that's what I want to be. It's the high individualistic. The economic is what's in it for me. He doesn't care what's in it for him. He doesn't do things because it's he'll do things if he's going to learn or it's something that he feels like doing. That's pretty much the only way you'll get him to do something is if he wants to do it or if he'll learn. So if you want to get Kevin to do something, figure out how to motivate him to want to do it because you can't get him to do it. You can't motivate him to do it. You can get him to want to do it. That's it.
Oh, true. Honey, do you want to clean out the garage this weekend?
I think it's pretty clean as it is.
What can I do?
Here's the thing. There's a new video out, Kevin, that I just watched about a week and a half ago, and it was talking about organizing, and it talks about different strategies for organizing, but it says that only a select few people have the ability to do it, that only a select few people have the cognitive ability and the mental capacity to be able to spatially view this, but it takes actually going into the garage and moving things around, but by applying this principle, you'll be able to learn, but like I said, only a few people can do it. I don't know. Is that something that you'd want to take a look at if I sent you the video?
No, doesn't interest me.
Darn it, I thought you had him, Alex. I thought you had him.
It's a great word track. It's a hard pass. Doesn't do anything for me individually. I won't feel
Darn it.
You see, it's funny though. If you go back and rewind and watch that, you can actually see as I'm using that talk track, you watch his physiology shift. He starts to sit upright. He starts to smile a little bit. He doesn't want to clean the garage. That's clear.
No.
However, the talk track nailed what it is that was motivating him, and it was firing his buttons. And he's like,
Exactly.
I would just like to say, the garage is very clean.
It is very
right
clean.
now.
I was
Thank
just
you.
using it as an example because when
Yeah,
I get
see.
something in my head, I'm like, we're doing it today.
Yeah,
It's like, how about tomorrow or the next day?
this is fascinating stuff.
It is
to me
fascinating.
because it is spot on. I mean, it really is spot on. For
Well, and
me,
it's
for sure.
Well, it's
spot
important.
on.
I think, again, not only your clients, your relationships, your children. I mean, we disked Michael and after we disked him, I was like, oh my God, like we failed him as a parent in this category because I didn't realize that's how he was. So it's
one of the
really,
things that's great about the disc is in order to be an effective leader, and as a real estate agent, you said it, Kevin, it's like, you're not a real estate agent. You're leading your people through this process, right? That's the value that you bring, is that you're leading them through. And as a leader, you have to make your clients feel seen. You have to make them feel safe, accepted, and protected. You can't make someone feel safe if you don't see them. These profiles and understanding the concept allows you to go, I see you. Same thing with your kids. Same thing with your friends. If you can truly understand, that's why that statement, Tina, I can tell you're mad at the situation, it defuses them. It's because, oh my God, you see me. They're so used. The high D is so used to being told, you're being too aggressive. You need to calm down. Why is this such a problem for you? Why are you being so... I'm not aggressive at you. And they get so tired of hearing it that when somebody says, I can tell you're mad at the situation, they go, oh, they see me. There's a breath because they actually feel seen.
Yeah, it's super cool stuff. And I think everybody who's watching or listening, if you're not utilizing it in your life, whether it's for your clients or even to figure out how to communicate with your spouse, your kids, it's kind of a game changer.
it's a game changer.
I mean, it really, really is, because like I said, we use it with our team a lot, and you think you know how to communicate with certain people, and it turns out you don't. You're going about it the way you would want to be communicated with, but everybody is different. So the versatility and just the change we've seen from using it has been phenomenal.
Yeah, or you're judging people based on your values, right? Just based on if you're a high economic and somebody doesn't care about, whatever you care about, you're like, why don't they care about that thing? Well, they just don't. And I think that's probably why we have, I think, a really good marriage, hopefully, right? Do you feel that way, Derek?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I do. I feel like, no, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I feel like
she said I do.
Yeah.
Agree. So I agree.
No, but I mean, it's like once we understood like how we operate, how we function, it's like we just go, I accept it. I accept that you don't want to like go and sell 500 homes a year. Because before I knew about this, I'd be like, why don't you want to do this? Why? I want to do it. Why don't you want to do it? It's like, I have no interest in that. Why?
Yeah.
And so, so I think it's definitely understanding your spouse, understanding your clients, and it changes everything. It really does. It's so important. So important.
Well, and understanding yourself, like you said, it's like I've got people who I work with who have a high economic, and they're told, don't be selfish. And I was working with this one agent, and she wasn't performing. She was having a really hard time. She was trying to be just this, like, she's trying to downplay. And she's like, she had no altruistic. She had no political. She didn't care about helping people. And she's a real estate agent. And it's like, that doesn't work. And everyone tells her it doesn't work. And everyone's telling her, you can't be successful if you don't learn to help people. I go, here, watch this stock track. I am selfish. I want to be the best. And in order to be the best, I'm going to show up a certain way for you. On top of that, I want to get your referral. I can't get your referral if I don't provide you a high level of service. So yeah, I'm going to be upfront and tell you I'm doing this for me, but because I'm being honest with you and I'm telling you why I'm doing this, I'm going to give you better service than anyone out there, because I know in order to get that referral, I'm going to have to do a damn good job. So I'm showing up for you every single minute for the next 6 months and whatever it takes us to get you there. Any questions? And they go, no, I'm sold. Let's go.
Yeah. See that?
Flipped her performance. All of a sudden, homes, listing, one after the other, because she just embraced who she was. It was that simple.
Yeah.
And that's who the seller wants. I mean, that's the reality, right? They're hiring you to perform a service and get the job done, in my eyes anyway.
I agree.
You know?
100%. So, Alex,
Yes.
I hope you get very busy from this. Where can everybody find you?
So you can find me at youdon'tknowdisc.com. I've got an e-course that's launching here on November 1st. It's a pre-sale going right now, but you can go down there. You can find me on social media, My Disc Guy on Instagram. So if you do look up My Disc Guy, that's where I'm going to be hiding. And then you can find me on Facebook as well. Got the same thing, My Disc Guy, and part of Human Capital Systems is what you'll see in the like tag of it because that's a business name. But
yeah, and I highly recommend. I think when I first met Alex, I buy everything. I'm like, God, this is so good. I did my disc, and then I had Alex like read the disc. I think we spent an hour together, and he kind of read through some things, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting. So I really highly recommend. I mean, we'll probably put the link on there on our page after we're done with this.
Yeah, no,
but and Philip Marks was on here. Hi, Philip. He was saying, I want to have my son do it, and maybe I'll get through the teenage years. And he chuckled, but it's true.
They're free. Go take them.
Yeah, just take
I'm giving them away. Go take the profile. You can go to humancapitalsystems.com/free ADV. It'll be on the post. Or go to my Instagram that was just up there. Go to my Instagram. And on my Instagram, it says, take your free assessment. Click that little link and go take your disc. It doesn't cost anything.
Right. It's so important. Well, you're amazing. Thank you for continuously. I mean, we hired him as one of our coaches. We have many coaches for our team, but anytime we have a situation or something that we need to work through, we call Alex, and he's got the system where he can put the leader, the agent, and then figure out the solution based on the word track and how we need to approach that person to help that person move into action the right way. So, so informative. Thank you, Alex. You're my disc guy forever.
Aw. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we would love to have you back on, every now and again, even to break down some of the people watching. If somebody does their disc and wants a, kind of a
free reading.
Call now for free reading.
For the free reading.
Yeah, we would love that. I know you got to get running to pick up your kids and all that. Alex, we so appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. You have a good one.
We'll see you next time.
See ya, Alex.
Yep.
So what do you think?
It's fascinating.
It is so fascinating.
Disc has always been fascinating.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's spot on.
It's spot on. It's like he's read thousands and thousands. He goes, like, we'll call him and he'll just pull up a disc, he'll pull up the leader, and he'll be like, this is what they're going to fight about. This is how you have to do it. And I'm like, it's just amazing. And you just start to wonder, God, if I really got so good at reading this and learning this, and imagine the communication style with anything that you wanted in life. It's like it's just so interesting and amazing.
Yeah, it is. And Cindy, Cindy's saying she took it and she's a high C and a high S. I am too.
There is no good or bad. And that's where that's the part that gets me so annoyed after I met Alex, because everybody's like, oh, the high D, the high I's, they're just so gregarious and they're out there. Yeah, but the C's, I have friends that are high or low C or low I's. I'm sorry, low I's. They're just observers. Doesn't mean they don't want to go to the party. They absolutely want to go to the party sometimes, but they're going to sit in the back of the room and they're actually going to listen. They're going to hear you. They can probably tell you about everybody at the party because they actually can shut up and listen, right? And so I have a lot of friends that are low I's that are just amazing. So it's just thinking about, putting yourself in their shoes and then realizing that everybody is a little bit different, and there is nobody that's better than another. We just are who we are.
We are who we are.
We are who we are.
Be who you are.
Be who you are,
it's
Cindy.
Just
You're
like
amazing.
He was talking about the other agent who was, they basically said she was out for herself all the time, and he just taught her what to say.
Yeah.
And she said the right things and super successful from it. So,
and all the great service she's going to bring. When he spins it in that way, you go, well, that makes sense. And she's probably an amazing provider of the service that people hire her for.
Absolutely.
So, I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Well,
that was fun. An hour went by quick.
That was a whole hour of our life.
I know.
I have a problem because I usually, once I get going on these, I like to keep going.
I know.
Oh, and here, Cindy, if this makes you feel better, Bill Gates is a high C and a high
There
S.
you go, Cindy. Look at that.
So if you're a fan of Bill Gates, be happy about that. And if not,
I don't know about that.
I don't know what to tell you. But I know one thing.
Well, thanks, Chris Murray. I love it.
Thanks,
Rupesh
Chris
says,
Murray.
behind every good woman is a great man. Great job, Kevin.
I would argue the other way as well.
That's right.
I think
Rupesh,
it's
you're
a-
dead to me, Rupesh.
Yeah, you're dead to her, Rupesh. But I would say we make a pretty darn good team.
I think so. After what? How many? 26 years? I forget now. So many years.
Oh, it feels
So
like
many
a
years.
lifetime.
I mean, to the point where I'm wearing shirts with your face on them. Look at that. For the folks that got in late.
There he is.
This is what I was gonna wear, but it's so hot in here. I had to not wear your shirt.
Not sure how old I was in that. What did I look about?
I don't know,
11,
12.
11 or 12.
About 12 years old.
That was
Yeah.
in my coolest days.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I
That's
think we did it.
I think we did it.
We did a whole hour.
Yeah, we had a few people on. I hope they were
Yes.
entertained.
We had people. We had friends and family watching.
That's right. Commenting. Hopefully they were having a sip of something.
I would hope so. Here's the deal. You're out of town next week.
I am. We have a special guest. Somebody's
Um,
going to take my place, but I'm going to be one of the guests on the show.
Yeah, you're coming on.
Am I? Okay. I'm going to be in, where am I going?
You're going to a Tahoe.
I'm going to
Mastermind.
Tahoe Mastermind. See, I'm going to learn something because I have a very high theoretical. I guess. No, I guess I didn't. I learned for application.
Well, I don't
That's what
know.
I'm doing.
I'll be back for sure. Next Wednesday at 8:00. And then most Wednesdays.
Most
from-
Wednesdays, if
from
he
there.
feels like it.
We have travel, you know?
That's right.
Sometimes you got to travel. And
Live.
yeah, but tons of fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We so appreciate it. And we will see you next
See you
time.
later. Peace out.